Freedom is a word that gets thrown around a lot. Politicians love it. It's a sure applause line in every stump speech, along with Mom, apple pie, and the flag. But what does it really mean? Stop 10 people on the street, and the 6 who don't brush you off and keep walking will probably give you 6 different answers. At least one of the others might give you some spare change, and that'll make the effort worthwhile, at least. Is freedom the ability to do what we please? If it is, most of us are out of luck. If you're born to wealthy white parents, you've got a fighting chance. Otherwise, you're going to need a lot of luck and a lot of talent. Mostly luck. It also helps if you're good looking. Statistics prove if you're born poor, there's a good chance you'll die poor. Unless you're well off to begin with, just trying to survive will take up most of your time, and that doesn't leave a lot of time for freedom. Like the drowning man, you'll keep grasping at straws to stay afloat unless you get lucky and a log floats by, or better still, someone throws you a lifeline. Back in 2016, Freedom House, an organization that tracks freedom in all 195 countries around the globe, ranked the United States as 58th in the world in terms of freedom. Their rationale included the following. The United States political rights rating declined due to growing evidence of Russian interference in the 2016 elections, violations of basic ethical standards by the new administration, and a reduction in government transparency. Just a bunch of liberals whining, right? Okay, how about this? The Cato Institute, in conjunction with the Fraser Institute in Canada, both libertarian organizations, agreed we aren't so free anymore, stating in part, according to the Human Freedom Index, which presents the state of human freedom in the world based on a broad measure that encompasses personal, civil, and economic freedom, America is the 23rd freest country in the world. That's better, but still nothing to write home about. Women's freedom certainly took a big hit with the reversal of Roe v. Wade, largely facilitated by the Trump appointees to the Supreme Court, and COVID restrictions impacted everyone negatively, freedom-wise, for a while. Even with the COVID restrictions, we moved in the right direction in the first 2 years of the Biden presidency, but when the Republicans took back the House of Representatives, their deliberate obstructions set the cause of freedom back immeasurably. And in red states, from coast to coast, books were banned and countless other attacks on freedom were enacted by state legislatures, or they're in the works. Whenever we go to war, we're told we're fighting for freedom. But when I was drafted during the Vietnam War, I didn't have the option of not going without penalty, and that didn't seem very free to me. I could either choose to serve, go to jail, or hit the road to a different country. So I suppose you could argue there's freedom of a sort in that. I opted to serve, not because of the penalty, but because I'm a law-abiding citizen who thought it was my responsibility to do so, even though I completely disagreed with the reasons we went to war at that particular time. I also had a great deal of respect for those who resisted or fled. The same kind of rhetoric was used to justify the first Gulf War when Iraq invaded Kuwait. We were part of a coalition of countries which we organized to drive out the invaders and restore the government. But Kuwait was not a free country. It's a sheikdom that even allows slavery. So whatever we were fighting for, it wasn't exactly freedom. Same for the second Gulf War. We were attacked by Saudi Arabians, so we invaded Iraq, and that's just dumb. Again, freedom didn't enter into it. I would argue, except for the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, and the Civil War, not a single solitary war we've been involved with was primarily about freedom per se. Not ours, anyway. We were attacked at the start of World War II, so I suppose our freedom might have been threatened eventually, but not right away. Except for a few islands near Alaska where my father fought, we suffered no attacks on our own continental soil. During COVID, a lot of people screamed their freedom was being infringed upon because they couldn't do many of the things that they're used to doing, like shopping and going to work, school, or church. I understood the frustration, but I'm afraid COVID was one of those cases where your freedom stops at the end of your nose, almost literally, and the freedom to move about had to be curtailed in the interest of public good. It's true the Constitution guarantees us the right to peaceful assembly, but if through your actions you endanger your life and the lives of others, that can hardly be considered peaceful. I'm of the opinion that every right we enjoy comes with a responsibility. We have freedom of speech, but we have the responsibility to tell the truth and share facts, not just opinions, especially when the two don't jibe. We have freedom of religion, but we have the responsibility to ensure everyone else does too, and not the right to foist our particular brand of religion on everyone else. We have the right to cast our vote in free and fair elections, and the responsibility to see to it that everyone else has that right too. For a while, how about we concentrate on our responsibilities, and maybe, just maybe, the freedoms will take care of themselves.